Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 6 of our Connected Communities series. This week, we will be discussing the journey to financial empowerment.
Hello, let's talk about financial literacy. Today we will be discussing financial literacy and financial empowerment. Thus, understanding finances is a very important tool to independent living, and it has the power to affect our lives in a multitude of ways. Unfortunately, many intimate partner violence survivors come from an environment where they did not have the freedom to learn about financial management. These conditions can lead to circumstances such as stress, poverty, poor money management, and other negative consequences. We understand that the topic of finance can be uncomfortable to discuss, but the goal of today's session is to empower you financially, help you to feel in control of your finances, and feel included in your community's financial system. Financial knowledge can lead to financial empowerment and ultimately financial freedom. Know that you are not alone in your journey to financial freedom, and that it is completely okay to feel uncertain about money and financial terms. This learning opportunity and many others are available to help you reach your financial goals and achieve a peace of mind in your financial journey.
We are proud to introduce another member of the Revitaled team this week. This week's session will be led by Nordia Gregory-Smith. Nordia has been with TD for over 14 years and is passionate about volunteering and helping others. As part of the TD Ready Commitment, which is a program at TD that helps its employees to get more involved in their communities, Nordia is able to participate in different volunteer opportunities with different communities and not just her own. Nordia has a strong passion for learning, educating others on inclusion, and keeps laser focused on the colleague and customer experience.
My name is Nordia Smith, and today I'm going to be speaking on the topic of financial wellness. I want us all to think of our own experiences in our own lives. My goal today is to share some tips with you on financial wellness and how to help understand what it means to be financially healthy. We'd like to take a look at connecting financial and personal wellness. What connects them and why is it important for us to maintain both? We might ask the question, what is financial wellness? This is defined, sometimes called financial health or well-being, is generally defined as the ability to meet your financial needs, a feeling of security about your financial future, and the freedom to make choices that allow you to enjoy life. Being financially healthy allows you to be able to manage your bills and expenses, pay your debts, whether planned or unplanned, and plan for long-term financial goals such as buying a house, paying for college, and or planning for your retirement. It does not mean you have to have a lot of money in the bank. What it means, however, is that you are able to meet your financial needs now and put a plan in place for the future. You can enhance your financial wellness by improving various aspects of your personal finances. Now, it is important to understand the differences between financial wellness and financial literacy. Financial wellness is a state of being in which you can fully meet your current and future financial obligations while feeling secure in your financial future and making choices that allow you to enjoy your life. Financial literacy is the knowledge and training needed to manage your personal finances, such as learning how to create and manage a household budget, investing your money for retirement or other long-term goals, or partnering in one-on-one coaching and counseling to determine how to buy a house or start a business. And this can be done, you can get that information or you can seek out professionals, even at your local bank. Now, there are 4 elements of financial wellness. There is the security for the present, the security for the future, there's freedom of choice for the present, and there's freedom of choice for the future. So when we look at security for the present, that is having control over day-to-day and month-to-month finances. When we look at the security for the future, it's having the capacity to absorb a financial shock. So say, for instance, if something unexpected should happen, you're secure that you can absorb that without much loss to yourself financially. Now, freedom of choice for the present is having financial freedom to make choices that let you enjoy life. So if you decide that you want to go take a vacation, you can do so without any financial strain. Whereas freedom of choice for the future is being on track to meet your long-term financial goals. So you might want to set some goals and look to see, okay, long-term, what do I need to do to achieve, say for instance, you're saving for retirement, you're planning to buy a car or buy a house. What do you need to do? What do you need to put in place to be able to achieve that? Okay? Now, your overall wellness depends on several factors, and those would include mental health, physical, and financial health. Financial wellness is important because it improves your overall health and well-being. It allows you to reduce financial related stress now and for the future. The principles of financial wellness consist of overlapping areas of your personal finances. So while these can affect one another, you can achieve greater results by bringing each under control. And you might ask the question, what are these principles? So the 4 principles I want us to look at today is budgeting, debt, savings and investment, and protection and insurance. So when we look at budgeting, that is when you're creating and sticking to a budget. It lays a foundation to build your financial well-being. It provides a roadmap to manage day-to-day finances, prepare for financial emergencies, and plan for your future. 2, debt. Managing long-term debt and eliminating consumer debt. That can reduce barriers to savings, investing, and long-term financial planning. So knowing how to carefully manage credit can also build your credit score, giving you access to better borrowing rates for mortgages, auto loans, and other large purchases. When we look at savings and investments, long-term savings and investments can provide financial security and peace of mind for retirement planning. Short-term savings can leave you with cash on hand to cover home repairs, vacations, or other planned expenses without having to increase your debt. Then, fourth but not least, we're looking at protection and insurance. And majority of us, if not all, we do have some form of insurance. So insurance or emergency funds can protect you financially from unexpected emergencies. Insurance can cover losses due to fire, floods, or health emergencies. An emergency fund, on the other hand, cover other crises. Both can be helpful in preventing you from using long-term savings or going into debt. So it's very important that these are some things that you can look into if you haven't already done so. Okay? Now, let's take a look at how to improve your financial wellness. You might want to create a budget, build an emergency fund, protect your assets, reduce or eliminate debts, save and invest, and plan for retirement or other long-term goals. And then you might ask me the question, how do I do these? So first, we'll look at creating a budget. You'll need to know where you're spending your money each month. So creating a budget will help you live within your means and set realistic financial goals for your future. You should factor in necessary expenses, leisure spending, and savings. So being able to track your regular income and expenses will give you a framework to build on other aspects of your financial life. So when you're creating a budget, you want to look at the income that's coming in, you want to look at the expenses that are going out, and then you want to take into consideration any unexpected expenses that can come around. Okay? Building an emergency fund, part of your savings should immediately go towards an emergency fund equal to 3 to 6 months of household income. Now, Keep in mind that, as I said before, this is all going to be we're going to use this information as it pertains to our own individual lives, okay? So building an emergency fund can help cover expenses should you lose your job or if an unexpected expense occurs. You should also define what constitutes an emergency for you and or your household ahead of time so you can properly prepare for it. So what might be an emergency for myself may not be the same for you or vice versa. All right? We have to protect our assets. So while the emergency fund provides you with some protection, insurance provides more security in other situations, such as auto, home, and health insurance can often offset large, sudden, and unexpected expenses and losses. For example, if we look at auto insurance, we don't know that we're going to get into an accident. So we're paying for auto insurance. In the event that we do have an accident, we have the security of knowing that we have that covered. Okay? We want to reduce or eliminate our debts. And this is a topic that can take on a whole section of itself. But for today, I'm just going to kind of touch lightly. So we want to understand how much debt you can manage. The more debt you have, the less you can put into savings or even to invest to grow your wealth. So we want to keep in mind that we want to try and pay off the debts to improve your credit score so that you can comfortably borrow money for large purchases like a house or a car. So the lower your debt, the better you're able to borrow bigger. Okay? But at the same time, you want to keep that in check and do not go above your own means. When we look at savings and investment, you want to put money aside for savings for each paycheck, which can add up. So every little bit, it adds up. So you might say, okay, put in $5 aside every week if you get paid weekly. You may not think it's enough, but when you look over a long-term period, you'll be surprised how much that adds up to. All right? Consider different short-term saving options, such as traditional savings account, money market funds, and certificates of deposit. If your company has a 401k or other retirement savings plan, contribute to it. If your employer matches a portion of your contributions, it's free money towards your future. So if you're getting it matched by your employer, it's more incentive for you to put it in there. If these are not things that are an option for you, it doesn't mean you cannot save, right? One thing I say to people all the time, I've got this jar right here. And every little, you can start by putting your change in there. So if you come in and you've got like a bunch of change, get a jar or something and put that change in there so you can actually have it at the end. When it's filled and you open it up, you'll be surprised how much you've saved in there. All right? You also want to plan for retirement or other long-term goals. So the sooner you start saving towards retirement, the more money you'll have when you get there. So familiarize yourself with other retirement savings options, such as IRAs and annuities. Understand how different types of retirement resources, Social Security, retirement savings, annuities, and others can work together to provide you with income in retirement. And to get more information on this, you can definitely just go into your local bank. If you're not a member of a bank, you can walk into any bank or even credit unions and ask to speak to a financial advisor or book an appointment, and they can sit down with you and help to guide you towards what would be better for you. And keep in mind, whatever they say is the suggestion, but you have to make sure that it is something that will be applicable and workable for yourself. Okay? Just one point I want to note at this time. For you to have financial wellness, you need to have personal wellness. So if you remember at the start, I indicated that we're going to be looking at how they interact with each other. So we've looked at what is financial wellness. Now we're going to look at what is personal wellness. So personal wellness means being physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually healthy. A healthy lifestyle helps balance all these aspects to achieve wellness. So your decisions and choices will impact both your short-term and your long-term wellness. So keep in mind that what you put into your body pretty much is what you're going to get out of it. Okay? When you think of personal wellness, it means that you are thinking of yourself as an individual. And remember to say that for this segment, it's going to be based on each individual perspective. So what I'm experiencing right now is going to be different from what you're experiencing and vice versa. So we just got to make it work for us, okay? Today I want to look at 8 components of wellness. We're going to look at emotional wellness, environmental wellness, financial wellness again, intellectual wellness, occupational wellness, physical wellness, social wellness, and spiritual wellness. So these are 8 components that come together to ensure of your personal wellness. Okay? So I'll start with the emotional wellness. So being attentive to your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, whether positive or negative, and coping and accepting them accordingly. Do not be afraid to seek out support if and when it is needed. All right? Provided support, be willing to provide support to others and offer an active listening ear if you're able to do so. Cultivate a more optimistic attitude and accept and forgive yourself. We are our biggest critic. And a lot of times, because of guilt, we allow guilt to bog us down for whatever reason it is. So if we can accept where we're at and be optimistic to work ourselves out of it, that's a good start. Being environmentally healthy, we recognize how decisions and actions impact the environment we live in and put it in the best foot forward to maintain its natural integrity. So you might want, instead of taking the car, you might want a bike, or even take public transit if that's applicable, or even better yet, if you can walk. Some people, what they do, they carpool. In some organizations, you'll find that they've got designated parking spots, which are closer, possibly to the doors, for persons who travel in carpooling. So these are little things that you can do to help out with making sure your environment stays safe, okay? When we look at financial wellness, as we did before, it's just having the ability to live within your means, including forming a healthy relationship with your money and identify effective ways to manage it. Don't be afraid to talk about money. It's yours, and there's a reason why we have it, all right? I know in a lot of circumstances, it's like talking about money is a taboo subject, but we don't want to make that. One thing I want you to take away today, speaking about money is not taboo. It is important for us to understand it, and one way to do so is for us to speak about it, okay? So we want to try something new, right? With the financial awareness, as I discussed before, you want to create a budget, like I said, understand what's coming in, what's going out, how it's affecting your credit score, understand your debt, and all of that, okay? Next, we look at intellectual wellness. Participating in lifelong learning and challenging the mind on an ongoing basis, such as participating in mentally stimulating and creative activities, reasoning objectively and critically making responsible decisions, and exploring new ideas and different points of view. That will definitely help our intellect. So I'm going to challenge you to try something new. Take up a book and read it. Take up a puzzle book, Sudoku. Challenge yourself. Find what works for you and challenge yourself. A lot of smartphones, they do have those apps on them now that you can carry instead of lugging around a book. I like my pen and paper, but whatever works for you. Seek it out, find it, utilize it. All right? When we look at occupational wellness, to obtain personal fulfillment from the work you do. So be honest with yourself as to how you are feeling. So if you're not happy with what you do, you're not going to be happy at work. So I always say, if you're getting to that point where the work is not, you're dreading going into work in the mornings, maybe it's time you start looking for another line of work. All right? But it's important that you enjoy what you do, because it does help with your wellness, your overall wellness. So set personal professional goals and work towards them. You can even engage yourself in professional groups. One group that I'm a part of is Toastmaster, right? And we meet weekly. But there are other professional groups out there, or other social groups that you can actually engage in to assist you in different aspects of your occupational wellness. When we look at physical wellness, it's taking care of the physical self, which takes into consideration eating healthy, getting enough sleep, exercising, and minimizing risky behaviors. And you might say, what are risky behaviors? And this will differ for each individual person. So I'm not going to touch much on that. I want it to be, like I said, it's more on an individual basis. So things that I personally probably would not do because it might be a risk to my health is I probably wouldn't go bungee jumping even though it's on my bucket list, right? But depends on where you are and what your goals are, okay? But you want to make sure you're eating properly, you're sleeping to get enough rest, and you're doing some form of exercising, whether it's walking, even when you're working, instead of sitting all day, which I'm very much guilty of, you can stand up, walk up and down your stairs. That's exercising. It doesn't mean you have to go join a gym or anything, or just walk around the block or go to your local parks, right? Surprisingly, you might even meet some new friends at the local park when you go walking, okay? But think about it and just remember, it's about making sure that you're physically healthy, okay? Social wellness is interacting with others in a very important aspect of personal wellness. So you might, like I mentioned, you might want to join a social club or meet new people, right? Get in touch with old friends, go for a coffee, go for a lunch, dinner, whatever it is, right? Or just meet up at the park. Everyone brings their own coffee, which they're going to make at home because we're on a budget, and go for a walk. Or just hang out and, have a quick chat. It doesn't have to be anything long or anything expensive or extensive, but have that connection, all right? Last but not least, spiritual wellness. So we all need to believe and be grounded in something. We have the need to understand the meaning of life and what it is and what is our purpose. So if you can understand what your purpose is and, keep yourself grounded, it will help us with our spiritual wellness. So explore and embrace your religion and spiritual core. Give thanks daily, especially for the little things. Give back to others financially if you're able to do so, as well as give of your time by volunteering. And I always say, the most expensive thing that you can give anyone is your time. Because once it's given, it cannot come back, and there's no price that can be placed on someone's time. Okay? So be reminded that what you put into yourself is what you will be getting out of yourself. So I implore on you, take care of self. If you do not, highly unlikely someone else will do that for you. Okay? So as we come to the end of this segment, just in summary, just want to remind you, I encourage each and every one of us to empower ourselves. Seek out knowledge on how to understand our money and how to make our money work for us. Consider your whole self. With financial wellness comes personal wellness. As women, we're constantly taking care of everyone else. It is time we start the same for ourselves. You don't do it, like you said, highly unlikely anyone else is going to do it. So I leave you with a quote from Walt Disney. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing it. So once again, I want to say thank you for your patience and thank you for joining me today. Have a blessed day.